We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
What we do not do is spy unlawfully on Americans.
We are leaving in 2014, period. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
You are listening to Biting the Bullet with Luke and Typo.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, we're supposed to hit record when we're trying to record an episode.
I know. Not, well, I know. We did like 30 minutes of conversating.
I know. Well, see, I was thinking about this before. I wanted to tell everybody, like, this isn't a show for you guys. This is Typo and I get to talk time at the end of the week. Because we don't live together anymore, and you guys are just invited to listen to the conversation. Like, that's kind of how that's what this show is at this point. Like at first it was, we get to hang out and bullshit about everything that we bullshitted about all week. But now it's like, yeah, we text and we'll play a video game or two throughout the week. But now it's like, oh, I get to catch up with my buddy at the end of the week, and let's bullshit about the fucking news like we used to.
Yeah. It's basically, first, the first like time we talk is like something personal that we don't want to share with everyone, and we do that for like 15 minutes, and then it's like, oh shit, dude, we should probably start recording this, because our conversations like start off, personal stuff, and then it leaks into like, dude, did you see that article this week? Or like,
no, and then it's trending? Like, oh shit, we got to record because we're getting rid of content.
Yeah. So then we're like, okay, we better start this like now.
Yeah. Now there was a lot of shit that went on this week. None was like, I really wasn't on Twitter that much this week. I think this is how all of our conversations start out. It's like, how much of Twitter did I eat up this week? Some of the big things that stood out to me was Joe Rogan went on Flagrant and got really fucking high. I heard that was a good episode. Yeah. Too Flagrant, or whatever it is, Flagrant Foul, or whatever fucking that guy's name is. I can never remember his
Andrew
name.
Schultz. I remember
Andrew Schultz. Yeah, I heard it was pretty good. I didn't really consume a whole lot of Twitter. I was on TikTok a lot, just fucking around. I really want to get our videos on TikTok because I think they would do well, especially some of our one-liners. We'd probably get kicked off the platform multiple times.
Yeah.
But it seems like you can just keep making a new account. Like, it doesn't seem like they perma-ban accounts. Yeah. So, that's an avenue of approach.
Dude. So TikTok is like the Zoomers realm. That's how I kind of think about it. Like, that's where the Zoomers like hang out online. At least a lot of them do. Yeah. And they fucking love Stranger Things, dude.
Dude, they're obsessed with it. Dude, like, the 80s are coming back.
I mean, yeah, because part of it has to be to Stranger Things. For some reason, the Zoomers love it, dude. Like, I actually stayed off TikTok a lot because like every other one I saw was all about Stranger Things, and I was like, I'm kind of tired of listening to this. It's the same song.
Oh yeah, the fucking Sarah Bush song, whatever, the running song. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, dude, it is. It was funny. I had to go to a wedding over the Childerberg weekend. My girlfriend and we went shopping so she could get a dress, and she's like, I hate the fucking style right now. It's like I was like, yeah, it's like Little House on the Prairie. Like, if you go to any of those stores, the H&M's or the Forever 21s or anything, it's like Little House on the Prairie. And it's because like the 80s are back, and they're back with a vengeance, and they should have stayed in the 80s. Like, I swear to God, like, it's horrible. I don't care how much. It's like your buddy from Intel at Second Tanks, Borja.
Yeah, dude.
He was obsessed with the 80s, and everything he said was a cliche, extremely cringy, and I didn't. It bothered the fuck out of me, and he just thought it was so cool.
Yeah, he thought it was the coolest thing,
and it was like, dude, that is super, super gay. Like, just
at first, because we love movie references, right?
Yeah,
like,
and I love the '80s movies. I love them.
Yeah, they're great movies. And at first, when we first like hung out, like I think you only hung out with them like what, 4 or 5 times.
Well, we hung out more than that, but like,
okay.
At the beginning, yeah, we hung out quite a bit because I mean, we went to Palm Springs and shit, and then to those weird bars.
Yep.
Weird bars out in Joshua
Valley.
Tree, Yucca Valley, yeah.
Yucca Valley. Yeah. Well,
So I hung out with him quite a bit.
So then that like at first, it's hilarious. You're like, oh, dude,
and then every time we're in the car, we're listening to fucking Night Rider. Or Night
Moves.
Yeah. Working on a night move.
Dude, I mean, I have that song on my playlist.
It's a great song.
It's a great
song. But I couldn't listen. I couldn't listen to it for like a year and a half after knowing it.
Yeah, dude. And this guy too. Like, if you weren't playing 80s music, you would just sit in the back and talk shit about all these songs you're playing.
Yeah.
And if you were playing like, I don't know, like.
Dude, don't get me started on hip hop. If we played any type of hip hop, it was like,
you gotta.
And he's Mexican.
At least he looks Guatemalan.
Whatever, same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, he was cool. I liked him, but like, man, when he started to like doing his quotes from like every 80s movie, I'm like, God damn, dude. Like,
there's the entire conversation revolved around just 80s.
Yeah,
like references. It was like, all right, that's funny. Oh, that one's good too. I liked that movie. All right, bro. Like, you're not Tom Cruise. You're the same height, but you're not Tom Cruise. Like,
yeah, he was a short, stocky dude.
Yeah, and it was I don't know, but the 80s is in right now, and it's intense, and it's like the Zoomers, like end all be all currently. Yeah, I don't know. It's super weird.
I didn't realize so many Zoomers were into Stranger Things. I was just, I mean, obvious. Actually, it should have been obvious because it's like targeted at young teenagers doing like cool ass shit. But
all right, well, okay. Here, I got a question for you. Does Zoomers sound inherently demeaning?
Did a Zoomer tell you that?
No, I'm just saying it kind of. To me, it kind of sounds demeaning. I feel like
maybe because
we're the millennials. We're like the millennials.
So many negative connotations to the Zoomer that you just think it is degrading.
Yeah, well, I mean, I use it degradingly, but Zoomer, like, we get millennials. It's like we're born around the millennia, like the 2000. Like, we were born right in that area, so it makes sense. Like, we're the millennials, and then like before that, they were like fucking named after chromosomes. I don't know. They were the baby boomer generation, the Great War generation, I guess. And then you have what is it?
Dude.
Generation Z, Generation X, or whatever. Yeah. Like, and then you have Zillennials and Zoomers. And I think that's actually probably the same thing. I don't know particularly if it is, but it sounds the same. But Zoomer sounds intentionally demeaning to me, and I kind of love it because it does, and that's how I use it. But I don't know if it sounds demeaning to anybody else. So I was wondering.
Yeah. Well, like, what's funny too is like I always make fun of my sister because she's like right on the cusp of fucking being like, I think she's like the youngest millennial. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's
like 96, right? Or 97. Oh shit. No, she's a fucking Zoomer.
Well, that's okay. Well, then, I don't know. But I was kidding.
I don't fucking know where the cutoff is.
I don't know either, dude. I just fucking guess, dude. I just assume it's like, well, you're born in 2000.
Zoomer could be 2010. Like, I don't know. There's the Zillennials, and I don't really know what that fucking word means. Like, it starts with a fucking X.
We already got another one. So, oh my.
Well,
God.
I think that's before Zoomers. Like, I think it's millennials, Zillennials, and then Zoomer.
Like children, right?
Well, Zoomers would be like the 2010s
Teenagers.
On.
Yeah.
And then Zillennials, they're turning 21.
Oh, I see. Okay. So okay, I thought there was just
millennial. I don't know. But I think it's I don't know if it's correct, but I think it would make sense to distinguish between 2000s babies and 2010s babies because it's a completely different world and they grew up completely differently.
Yeah.
So I think that is an easily distinguishable characteristic trait of a generation.
Yeah,
but I could be fucking wrong. But to me, this fucking 93 millennial, maybe I'm just getting into my old age and I'm like, because it was like my stepmom. She was born in 80. No, she wasn't. She was born. Oh, fuck. I don't remember when my parents were born. She was born literally on the last year that if you look up millennial, it was the first year of the millennial generation. And
I was there.
Yeah, because she was like adamant that she wasn't a millennial because she was talking about millennials a certain way, and I was no, you're a millennial, like you are. And because I knew her birthday and I was like, you're a millennial, and she was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, yeah, you are. Like just giving her the heat, bro, just because it was funny as shit, just to watch her like, I'm not a millennial. And then I was like, that's just exactly what millennials say. All of us say we're not millennials. That's what we do. We don't subscribe to labels.
Dude, I had like a cousin that was born in like 88 and was like trying to tell me
definitely a millennial.
Oh, she wasn't a millennial. I'm like, no, you are. Like, what are you talking about? We're like 6 years. I'm like 6 years younger than you. Like, I'm a millennial. Like, Lexi's damn near a fucking Zoomer. Like, what are you talking about?
All right, so 81 to 96 is millennials, and then Gen Z is the 97 to 2012. And I think those are the Zoomers.
Okay, wait, what was the dates again for the Zoomers?
Zoomers are... So millennials are 81 to 96 and Gen Z is 97 to 2012. So your sister's a fucking Zoomer.
Wow, dude. I'm going to go insult her after we're done.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's intentionally insulting. Like that, like they should be. I love how, but the other thing is like there's boomers, which is hilarious. Boomers 1 and Boomers 2. So there's two groups of boomers. The first group of boomers is 46 to 54. The second group is 55 to 64. So it's just one big group of boomers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From 46 to 64. And that makes sense. That kind of generally put them all into the same category.
Yeah, when the huge population burst in these like 15, 16 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Gen X is 65 to 80. And that kind of makes sense. That's like when, like my mom was 16 when she had me in 93. So she was born in 78, 77, something like that.
So like she grew up in the Gen X.
Yeah. So she grew
She's
up
like a millennial.
She like grew up in the 80s, you know, like I think that's how it's determined is like, you reach, it's like where you're reaching young adulthood is what they base it off of. So it's like you're growing up in I guess if she was 16, it would have been 77 because 3 would make 80, 13 years would be, she was 60 when she had me. So yeah, 93. So anyways, so she was 77 when she was born. And so the way it works out, I don't know. I think it's where you're like reaching young adulthood and that's kind of like where they reach the mass
be like
majority
into the 80s, like early 90s,
end of the 80s, teenager in the early 90s, like growing up in the post grunge era.
Dude, that means like
that's a great era.
We're like the into the 2000s.
We're the end of the 2000s. We're the 70s babies of the Gen Xers.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I see.
Yeah. We're the 70s babies. But see, the Gen X clan, you know, that fucking 68 to 80, like, or 65 to 80, 1965 to 1980 group, like they were just kind of like, our parents told us if we just keep our heads down and work hard, we'll get to where we want to go. There's a lot of shit that's fucked up and they tell us that, but as long as we work hard, we can get there. And generally that was kind of true for the lot of them. But they also grew up knowing about the crack epidemic. They OJ Simpson, they grew up with Nirvana, because Nirvana was big in the late 80s. Fatboy Slim. I'm just listing artists now. Listing artists. Dude, he's still Fatboy Slim DJs currently still, and he's really fucking good. He goes to like EDM shows and he has a really good performance. I've noticed some people that's like, well, this is probably ain't that big of a transition for like DJ Slim, but like when people like move into like the EDM scene and they just do phenomenal. It's really weird. Like, I'm not saying that it's and he was always like that kind of person though. Like his wasn't really like giant performances where he's out there rapping. Like,
that's true.
Remember, his music's kind of like techno-y, DJ-ish. Like he was more of an MC that DJ'd.
So he'd probably be like kind of like almost the beginning of the EDM scene. Like he was that kind. So it was really cool. I watched him. I didn't watch him live, but I watched one of his shows and it was really fucking good. Random. But anyways, the Gen Xers, you know, they kind of grew up in that era, and we grew up in the era of just like everything's on fire. You might figure it out. If you don't, fuck you. We're like the New Yorkers. We're like the New Yorkers of the generation. Buildings were falling from the sky. We're like, what is
like
going
legit,
on?
like literally falling from the sky. And we're like, oh, is this normal? And everybody's like, no, bro, it's not normal, but it's normal for you.
Yeah, it's normal for us. What do you mean? Buildings don't fly into, or planes don't fly. Planes don't fly into buildings when you're growing up. That's not normal.
Yeah, dude. Now it's like fucking a Tuesday. Going up on a Tuesday. But you know, God. Like, yeah, you guys don't have wars that last 20 years. Like, that's not normal for you guys. And they're like, nah, fam. Like,
your housing market doesn't collapse? What?
Twice? It doesn't collapse twice? I thought this was a rotational thing. Like, we just do it every once in a while. Like, shake things up a little bit, make it more exciting.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God.
But the interesting thing about, so the original reason why I brought up TikTok is there's a lot more there's content creators are getting really big on TikTok, right? Like there's just something about like the 7-second to 3-minute video, I think, that you can have on TikTok now. It was kind of something that you saw with like Instagram when it first came out, and Snapchat. But Snapchat really, it was kind of hard for like content creators, it seemed like, to have like a big influence on Snapchat. But it was cool for friend groups, right?
Oh yeah.
And like to get people follow you. And then, but Instagram kind of did it where it got big when it started doing the Snapchat story type deal. And then just being able to post videos on Instagram totally killed Vine. Like it destroyed Vine because Instagram was just...
Did Instagram do that first and then Vine kind of collapsed?
Vine came out and then Instagram came out with that video, and Vine was actually in a fight with it over them saying that it was,
I didn't know that.
And then Vine collapsed because it was just like they just didn't have the people on the platform anymore. But the thing about TikTok that's cool is that it's like specific to this, like it's like its own thing. And Instagram kind of stole the reels aspect of it, but it doesn't seem to be doing as well. Like it does well, but TikTok just seems to be doing it well. But the cool thing about TikTok, which is what I wanted to get into real quick, was the amount of people on there that are talking about crypto, the amount of podcasts that go on there that are very alternative sounding podcasts. They're generally not very like mainstream podcasts, but they're big enough, and they sit there and they talk about the housing markets, and they talk about how the money supply is collapsing, and they talk like there's quite a bit of it. And don't get me wrong, I probably created my own algorithm that brings this to my face way more. I don't understand how the algorithm works, but generally mine is football and basketball tutorial, like teaching young kids videos for some reason. I don't know why, but I love to sit there and I don't know why, but I love sitting there and listening to a coach like explain how to run a fucking an inside slant to like call young college age or high school kids because they just have never ran it correctly. And I was like super big on route running, but so that comes up all the time. And then the other thing,
funny, obscure things that
that's kind of like it's just like a me thing, you know, like it makes sense. And the way you and I, when we sit here and talk about football, it just like makes sense, but it's totally obscure. I was telling my girlfriend about that. She's like, "That's fucking weird, bro." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't, it's whatever." That's me.
Fucking. Well, that dude, the algorithm is pretty weird because mine, I don't know how, but I stumbled into like the black comedy scene on TikTok. And it's hilarious, dude. Black people on TikTok are the funniest people. Dude, like, I don't know.
That's how I grew up, man. It's the best.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but black people are just so good at making a story better. Like, they are just so good at telling stories. Like, I don't know.
Just because they're roasting everything all at the same time.
Yes.
Because everything's able to be made fun of all at the same time. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
They're so good at that. That's why. But that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I see football stuff. I honestly, my TikTok is nothing like political stuff. Like maybe a little bit here and there.
See, I get I got that one that I sent you where it's like the Fed and it's like, you better come over. You can only come over here if you have level 3 plates. And they're like, we got to get out of here. Hey, bro, was that fully automatic? You can only come over here if you got level 3 plates. And they're like, oh shit, we should leave. And it's a guy in an FBI fucking uniform or ATF uniform.
Well, yeah, dude, there's like that cop on TikTok that like makes kind of like, he's kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Like he's making fun of like encountering an American that don't fuck around. Like that's the best place, the best way to say it. Like that's what his videos are about. It's always about that. And it's kind of funny because I'm like, dude, I bet that cop knows what's up. Like he came from like our,
he knows,
he knows, he knows, dude.
He knows.
He's so funny watching him. Like, oh my God. They're so,
dude.
TikTok can be hilarious, dude.
Yeah. But the biggest things that I've seen lately, and I get a lot of the money guys. Like I get a lot of Gary V videos and I get a lot of like the money guys.
I love Gary V, dude.
Yeah, Gary V's fucking funny as shit. And I love the way he talks and the way he speaks about things, but I hate that he fucking pitches NFTs so fucking much. I hate NFTs. So I think it's the stupidest thing ever, but at this point, I don't really care. Like if you're going to go into crypto and stuff like that, and you're doing NFTs, at least you're into crypto. Yeah. I'm not saying that NFT is specifically crypto, but generally operates in crypto. So like, go ahead, do it. At least you're getting an understanding of the basics of what blockchains are and things like that. And you probably have more of an idea on what a blockchain is than I do. And I still know that NFTs are fucking stupid.
That's so funny that you actually said that, because I don't know. Earlier today, I didn't know. So I messaged Card and I was like, can you point me to a podcast or something to explain blockchain? Because I really don't know what that means.
It's all algorithms, bro.
And he sent me one, and it was Guy Swan's Bitcoin Audible.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, of course.
Great. Yeah, Guy Swan's a G.
Yeah, he's a Bitcoin G, right? But yeah, he sent me that, and I was like, yeah, dude. Because he said something about blockchain at Childeberg, and like, I'm sorry, like, I know I tell people like,
it's just not my field. Bitcoin. It's just not it's just not what I'm interested in. I don't care to know. Yeah. I take my information from people that are smarter, more intelligent than me about the product that I trust.
Yes.
And then I go full ass into it. And I'm like, you should do this. If you don't, you're fucking stupid because this guy told me to and I trust him.
This is what some fringe community told me that most people, if you talk about them, will think they're fucking insane. And that's why I'm buying Bitcoin.
But they've been right about everything else. I did my research on that.
Yeah, I just know like their perception of reality is a lot. What I believe is more grounded in reality. So like, just because we have that in common, I listen to them.
Yeah,
like exactly. I don't know. That's how I feel.
there's like 17 like pyramid schemers right now that are like, these guys are perfect. We can get them.
Oh yeah. Dude, let's send
them an email after this episode.
Dude, someone could DM me tomorrow. I mean, like half the time, this could be partially because of my loneliness, but half the time when I get like DMs and it's like hot chick that's like, oh, let's meet up. Like half the time I'm like, what if it's real?
You reply just in case, you know?
What if it's, yes, you always reply just in case.
And then when somebody calls you on it, you're like, dude, I was just fucking with it. I just wanted to see what the bot would say.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I just want to know what it does so no one else falls for it so I can spread the message. I'm not falling for this.
Well, and so just back to TikTok, like the reason why TikTok was like came up was I've seen a lot more people talking about the housing market, and that's pretty fucking cool because it's making it mainstream where a lot of people are like, hey, watched, like there's a lot of people that are in their 30s now, like mid to late 30s, that are like, we watched the first housing crisis and we couldn't do anything about it. We were still teenagers or whatever. And we watched the first housing crisis and we were in the middle of our teenage years where we're about to go buy shit. These are the ones that turned 18 in 2008 or 2007, 2006, and then grew up in the housing market, horrendous market that we've seen in a long ass fucking time in the United States up until 2011, 2012. So like they grew up there and then they became, either real estate agents or things like that. Those are the ones that tend to pop up on my feed, that they are real estate agents or they are this, that, or the other, or some kind of like Clint is, a private money manager or private money investor. And they're like, cash is king right now. They're like, save all your cash because the market is crashing. And there's no way it doesn't crash because they've seen it before. They had the general understanding at that age. They grew up and then realized what actually happened when we all realized what actually happened after, hearing some of the stories of what went on during what the lead up to 2008. And they're like, cash is going to be king. We're going to see the biggest growth of millionaires we've ever seen in this country in the next 16 to 24 months because it's going to go fucking down, or 18 to 24 months is what a lot of people are saying. Because, when things when things crash, you're getting wholesale prices on a lot of companies there's going to be a lot of stock market millionaires. There's going to be a lot of housing market millionaires. There's going to be a lot of crypto's going to fucking skyrocket at some point.
Hopefully Bitcoin millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, there's going to be some Bitcoin millionaires. And, it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, it's going to happen again. And it's happened faster, right? Between, the late 80s, early 90s or early 80s to, I guess, 2008. Like there was a crash in 2000, but that was just on some, we don't know what the computers are going to do when it turns to 2000. And it's like, well, it's a computer, like it'll just go to 2000.
Yeah.
It doesn't just like reset to 1901. Like, like that was still when like the general populace still didn't understand what a computer did in 2000. And so like that market crash was definitely inflated. There was a clear inflation there, but it wasn't inflated based off of price
bubble, right?
Yeah, the .com bubble, but it wasn't inflated off of, it was inflated off of malpractice. I don't want to say that it's not malpractice, but it was inflated off of like just extreme ignorance. And I guess you could say the same thing for this one, but it's ignorance in the sense of government intervention in this one, where that's exactly what happened in the early 80s, late 80s, when gasoline was at all-time highs, fucking housing markets were crashing, and then again what happened in 2008, and it's just getting closer and closer and closer. Probably the time periods are going closer.
And honestly, that .com bubble, like I'm kind of all in on Bitcoin. I really kind of believe in it, believe what the people told me about it, but it's completely fake. It's not real.
We don't know anybody.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't have friends.
We don't talk to anyone. We don't know Car.
Who's Car?
We just have some random homeless guy that show up, and then we'd say he's Car and put him in a room.
He says he's Car, and we're like, that's believable. He's a car. We take our financial advice from some dude named fucking Carr.
And Rollo.
And Rollo. I'm serious, guys. But fucking, but all I know is that like, so like probably that like Bitcoin's probably like a huge fucking turnoff for a lot of people because they watched the internet or the .com bubble explode. And they probably just assume like, oh, this is one of another internet bullshit things. Like
yeah, the Gen Xers, our parents,
oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
my parents
are like, ugh, like there's fucking weird internet people like going crazy over something online again. Like that's probably how they see it because, you know, like I don't know, like that. If I was an older generation, I'd probably be like, internet's fucking stupid. Like who?
Good, fuck them. I'm trying to be richer than my parents.
Yes.
My parents are doing incredibly well for themselves and are in very stable positions for themselves. But like, I tell them all the time, I'm like, yeah, I'm a broke ass bitch right now, but just fucking wait. This Bitcoin thing's gonna work out. Carr and Rollo told me.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you psychopath.
Yeah. That's why, like, so.
But cash is king. Cash is the original point that I want to be back is cash is king. I'm not saying that cash is like truly king. Bitcoin is fucking king. But having that store of value, even if it is in cash currently, and the fucking shit drops, like if you are able to have a savings right now, then have a savings. I have a savings in Bitcoin, obviously, allegedly. I have a savings there. And then I have a cash savings that I keep around because if I can, you know, make a couple bucks somewhere in the stock market, I don't play that very often. I don't do that shit anymore. Robinhood gave a really bad taste in my mouth when all that shit went down. So I was like, fuck this app and I'm deleting it. And I don't give a shit about Webull or Robinhood or any of those things. But if I can make a fucking killing on something that I'm like, all right, Amazon's down to fucking $20 a share because the entire stock market took a shit. Well, when they get bailed out and they're back up to $350,000 a share or whatever the fuck they make right now on a share, you know, when they get bailed out, like I'm at least going to fucking make some cash on it because, you know, and then I'm going to put it all into fucking Bitcoin. Allegedly.
I buy Raytheon.
Yeah, dude. And it's going to drop well, when it dropped. And then like when the Ukraine fucking things went out, it was like, buy Raytheon. It was like $32 a share or something like that.
I know, dude. Those fucking monsters.
And then I knew it. I was like, I think we talked about it on the podcast. Like, I guess we should start buying Raytheon. Like, I think we made like an offhand joke about it because we were talking about the Ukraine, Russia, fucking everything. And then literally 3 weeks later, it was, you know, $150 and you went from $32 a share to $150 a share. And it's like, you can make a grip of fucking money of that. You invest $1,000, you make a grip of money and just take it out, leave it in Robinhood. So you don't have to pay the taxes on it. Invest it in something else that's stable for a little bit. So you don't have to pay the taxes on it and then invest it in something else. And then once you're able to pay the taxes on it, or you're in a place that you're fucking comfortable enough where you don't have to take the money out, fucking take it out and let your fucking accountant do it and don't pay any taxes on it.
You know, like when like the day trading thing first came out, like I didn't really understand stocks, so I never like fucked with it because I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was kind of the one in the house that got into it.
You got into it, and I kind of got into like the penny stocks. You were like, yeah, dude, just invest in these, like a little bit of money in these penny stocks. And you were like, kind of like showed me like the Reddit, the Reddit fucking it was really good actually. Like there was like, they had good information and shit.
And then they caused the market to fucking crash.
Yeah, Reddit caused but
Wall Street bets.
I didn't really get into it, but then there was another app, and this is when I worked at that golf course in Arizona for a while, and I can't remember the fucking app's name, but these guys that I worked with, a lot of the younger guys, I would say probably like, when I say younger, like I was probably, I don't know, 26, maybe 27 at the time.
26 sounds right.
These guys were like 21, 22, and when I'm saying younger. And they all had this one app, and I couldn't remember the name of it, but basically they had a debit card, and every time they swiped, like a little bit of that money would invest into other stocks, like some stocks that
Acorns.
you choose. Yes, Acorn. That's the fucking the site, dude. And they were making killing off of that. I was so fucking shocked.
So that's kind of the thing that I did with my 401k, because I don't give a shit about my 401k, right? Like I just don't care about it. So a lot of the guys that are older than me, almost all the guys in my job are way older than I am. All of them are in like a very stable part of their 401k. Like their investment plan is very stable, grows 3% or 2%. Sometimes it takes a hit, but it generally grows by like 2 or 3% every year. I don't know, whatever the general growing of a 401k is, that's what it grows
fucking
by.
Good at it.
Yeah, it's fine, it's whatever, and they don't want to touch it. But for me, I don't give a shit about that money, because I'm gonna have to pay taxes on it anyways. So I'm like all in on my company's stock, because I just see my company continuing to grow, even when it crashes and burns at some point. And you know, if the government rebuilds, like I generally think it will, with the economic collapse that's coming, there's going to be bailouts and things like that. So even if it crashes and burns at that point, like I'm going to make money in the long run. And when I take it out and just like, hey, because I'm going to take it out before I retire. There's no point in me fucking keeping it. My goal is to be retired before I get to retirement age, where you don't have any taxes on fucking anything or whatever it is. I don't even really care how the 401k works. I don't care. It's not money that I'm looking forward to in the long run. Like that's it. In my opinion, it's just something that's there. That's kind of a requirement. And it's a savings account for me that I'll lose money on eventually, but I don't have any other place to put it generally except Bitcoin. And it makes my fucking family happy for me putting some money there. Like that's generally what it is for. It's just like, I have a 401k. You guys are going to be fine. Like you don't have to worry about me, kind of thing. And so, and then all my other stuff is doing the things that I wanted to do. And then eventually, hopefully, if I figure out the way to do it, I'm going to make a lot of money doing something that I actually enjoy doing, whether it's this podcast or something else, and diversify that money into doing things where I don't have to fucking work anymore. And then I'm going to take all that money out of my 401k at whatever fucking tax rate they require me to take it out at. Because I just won't give a shit, and I'll put that into everything else that I'm doing, because I'm just not going to give a shit about it. So all of my investment portfolio for my 401k right now is in the stock of my fucking company, and it either makes really big gains one day or it makes really low gains one day. And everybody else is like, oh man, well, how are you doing that? Da 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 da. And I was like, because I don't care about it. Like that's a freeing thing. Like when you, like with those guys that you're talking about with Acorns, they can put it to, you know, the highest, like the riskiest portfolio. You can put it into the riskiest
they're
portfolio.
on some Reddit group.
Yeah. Well, just like with Acorns, like you can choose the tier, like, cause I had Acorns too, but you can choose the tier of like riskiness for your portfolio that it invests in. And it's like, choose the riskiest, because that's money, because it's invest, it like rounds up your dollars. So you do 52.50, and all the change, that other 50 cents to 53, it just goes into your investing portfolio. So if you don't really give a shit about that 50 cents, then put it in the thing that'll get you the biggest gain that you can. Like not you personally, but make Acorns put it in the riskiest thing that they decide. And just do that, especially if you're young. It's like, bro, you'll have plenty of time to make back any money that you lose. Like, even if you lose everything, like you'll have plenty of time to make back all that money. But I think the play is to be risky while you're young. Like it's to be risky while you're young, because you can be risky and lose a lot. You can lose a lot, but the one time you fucking win being risky, it can set you up for the rest of your life, and you never have to be risky again. So just keep being fucking risky. Like this is probably the worst advice I'm giving ever, but I fully believe in it. Like I honestly believe that this is the way. This is the fucking way, gents. You fucking do this. You fucking risk it all. You risk it to get the fucking biscuit.
We're risking it,
dude. You lose it all, just to win it once.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
the way to do it.
That's how, like, basically I feel like maybe this is probably the bad mentality. Like, I am no position to give any sort of financial advice, so don't take this to heart. But like,
we know what we were talking about. We were fucking poor as shit.
Yeah, dude. And but like that's why I kind of feel about like, dude, fuck it, going in on Bitcoin, like whatever. Like, you know, I know to me, I believe in this stuff, but like I still think about like, well, what if we're wrong?
I don't care. I'm
like,
I'm
yeah.
not wrong. I listen to Rollo and Carr. I'm not wrong.
You know, all I know is like rich people don't put their money in the US dollar.
Yes, exactly.
So
and that's all I need to know.
That's all I know. So like put it anywhere else besides the US dollar. Stocks, gold, crypto, whatever you feel comfortable with. But all I know is put in the US dollar and put it in your savings account. Well, fuck you. That's all I know, dude.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, that's the big thing is like you grew up knowing like, oh, you save your money. Like that's what you've been told your entire life.
Yes,
and it's just like, oh, that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard. Oh my God, it's so frustrating that you just get told that your entire life. And there was a certain point in my life where I was just like, I don't have any savings. I can't do shit. Like we were poor. We were all broke as fuck when we got out of the Marine Corps. We were broke as fucking shit. My girlfriend and I were talking about this last weekend, and it was like, she was like, yeah, you're doing a lot better than you were like when we first met. And I was like, yeah, I didn't know on our first date if I was going to be able to pay for the bill. Like I was about to ask Typo and Nick for some Venmo money real quick, and then I'd pay him back because I just was like, I was that broke. Like I didn't know if my card was going to go through.
Yeah.
and you know, now I know, like we've all done it. Like, and that's the cool thing about getting out with your buddies. You know, like that's one thing that we had that probably a lot of guys that get out didn't have.
Like your insurance. You guys were like my insurance. Like I needed, hey dude, if you couldn't
pay rent, it was like we covered you. And if we couldn't pay rent, then you and the other guy would cover me. And that's just, that just goes to show like our friendship, like between you, Nick, and I, which he hasn't fucking hit me up. He's apparently moving back to Phoenix, but he hasn't hit me up. I went and looked at apartments for him. But you know, that's just like kind of our friendship. Like that's what we did. We got lucky as fuck that we were all chill as fuck. We got mad at each other for it sometimes.
Oh, dude, because there's a whole nother level to like being really good friends and then living in the same place together. There's a whole nother level.
And then borrowing money. Borrowing money is always like it's a pain point.
Yes, financial. I mean, that's why most divorces happen in America, dude.
Yeah,
because of financial shit.
And we didn't divorce. Hell yeah, bro. None of us divorced.
Yeah.
We don't divorce. We stick it out for the long haul because we hate ourselves.
Yeah, dude. And there was frustrating times, but like 100% for sure that if I just went and got my apartment myself, I probably wouldn't have been able to live out in Phoenix if I wanted to. Like there's no way.
We probably couldn't live anywhere, to be honest. Like you couldn't live. I don't know if you could have lived back home in your own place right out the Marine Corps. You might have been able to.
Maybe I don't know.
Not going to school?
Probably not. Or at least I would have to do like part-time at night or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like for me, like I could have lived at home, but that was not in any of our best interests at the time. The only reason why you're doing it right now is because you were away from your family for 6.5 years.
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. Whatever. Math is hard.
Yeah,
but you know, that's kind of how it is. Like, and generally for me too, like I had a year of being around my family and then they moved again. So
that was like kind of cool because then like when family fucking Thanksgiving or whatever happened, it was just like automatic that me and Nick were invited, and I was like, fuck yeah.
It was like that was the crazy thing. It was just like, I mean, it's how it is, but you guys are my brothers, so it was just like, if Luke's going, like obviously Luke's brothers are invited.
Question. The question is like,
you guys have gay parents now.
I was coming. Yeah.
You and Nick have gay parents. You can't say it's just me anymore.
My Phoenix gay parents. They told me not to invest in crypto.
Well, they're wrong about that. We don't listen to them about that.
They think we're young radicals.
Yeah, they do. They think we're kind of crazy, but that's all right. That's all right. There was some other shit that we were going to talk about. What do you want to jump to first?
Well, like I got a couple things. I'm not going to switch to it yet, but I forgot about all right, well, how about we just start with the Commanders defense coordinator, Jack Del Rio. I don't know if anybody saw this.
Commanders, gross.
Yeah, the Washington Redskins.
I'd rather them be the Washington football team.
Yeah.
I'd rather them be the Washington football team than the Washington Commanders. That sounds so fucking retarded.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't wonder what it sounds like to normal people, but like since we were in the military, we kind of like resent that military tone.
Commander.
I know, dude. We resent that a little bit.
It's like, all the commanders were bitches. So,
but everyone that I talk to like still refers to them as the Redskins.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know anybody that says like Washington football team or Washington Commanders.
Yeah, like the only people I see is like the commentators that still say it.
Yeah, and even they fuck up. So
yeah, they do, and they get a little bit of trouble for saying that.
Yeah,
just for saying the whole name. But I'll just switch that. I'm gonna do the screen sharing. I'll probably fuck it up. Oh.
Want to talk about it? I'd talk about it with anybody. Yeah, no problem. At any time. But
I don't know what happened.
Oh, dropped out.
At any time.
I'd try again.
But they're not. I'm just expressing myself, and I think we all as Americans have the right to express ourselves, especially if you're being respectful. I'm being respectful. I just asked a simple question. Really, let's get right down to it. What did I ask? A simple question. Why are we not looking into those things? If we're going to talk about it, why are we not looking into those things? Because it's kind of hard for me to say I can realistically look at it. I see the images on TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust-up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about, we're going to make that a major deal. I just think it's kind of two standards. And if we apply the same standard and we're going to be reasonable with each other, let's have a discussion. That's all it was. Let's have a discussion. We're Americans. Let's talk it through. I'm for us, having a great opportunity to have a fulfilled life. Like I said, every which way I can. When I'm here, it's about love and respect.
Dude, I should have let it.
Who's that now? Coordinator Jack Del Rio. All right, so
Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio fucking sat there and called January 6th, of all things, a dust up. How dare he?
I know.
Call it a dust up.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I should have maybe led into it better, but yeah, like January 6th committee, like all that stuff's in the news right now, and I actually wish I would have known if someone asked him a question about it, but I'm assuming that some reporter asked him, like, how do you feel about the January 6th committee or something?
Yeah, I wonder what the original question was.
Yeah, I wish I would have found a video. I couldn't find one. I kept looking, but yeah, he just basically, so he comments on the January 6th thing, and to me, he makes like the most rational comparison that I know of about the riots compared to January 6th. Like, it's like the level of like, okay, so we were in Phoenix and we got lucky, right? There was only like one night of riots. But that one night, I mean, we were outside talking to the neighbors. The atmosphere in the city kind of changed, like that feeling of like, it's not necessarily that you're scared, but you're like, oh, we need to think of like
tense.
A plan. You know what I mean? Like we need to plan things out, like maybe like take some precautions a little bit, like that's how our mentality was right away. We're like, what the fuck? Like we need to think of like just
it's like make sure you bring your gun with you. Make sure you bring your gun with you.
Shit like that. And now when I saw fucking January 6th, I didn't get that feeling. I didn't feel like my safety was in any sort of way like going to be harmed. Like I don't know, I didn't get that feeling. And that was only like one day. There was no fire. Yeah, there kind of was a riot, but they kind of let people in. Some shit got broke.
It was a lot different. It was a lot different than 3 months of extreme rioting in quite a few major cities. Like cities. Like we're not talking about like, small town Kansas.
Dude, we're talking Washington D.C. riot that happened in the summer of 2020 was much worse than January 6th that happened in
by far.
By
a large margin. Like the amount of people that were injured and hurt. Yes. Like we're not even talking about the business damage that was done during January 6th or during the riots at Washington for George Floyd. We're not talking about those. We're just talking about like legitimate injuries done during those 2 periods of time. And guess who won by a large majority?
Yes.
The riots. Yeah. And it's like, so come crazy, on, like, what are we fucking doing? I love it. Sorry, my dog looks hilarious because she's just a floating head.
Yeah. She keeps poking her head in. But it's just so crazy because it's like.
Oh, sorry. I found so he was asked about a tweet that he made that questioned why the 2020 riots following George Floyd's murder were not being investigated with the same fervor as the January 2021 attack at the Capitol. And I hate the fact this is on Fox News, Fox 5, Washington, D.C., their website. This is the article is Washington Commanders coach Jack Del Rio calls January 6th insurrection a dust up. But that's what the question that he was asked. And all he said was, and they reference it. I don't know. It was, I guess, his tweet that said something. And they asked him in reference to his tweet what he meant about it. And that was his answer. But they always refer to the January 6th as the attack on the Capitol. And it's like, what government official besides the cop that had a heart attack and the woman that was killed by federal officers?
Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt. Where was the attack? Like, I just want them to show me where the attack was and where the plan to that attack was, because they're saying that this was all planned by Trump of all people. The draft dodging Trump created this big attack plan for the people that decided to go on January 6th. This attack on the Capitol. I don't see it. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't fucking see it. And there's very few things that people can say that will make me believe it. Like, you have to show me like a legitimate battle order or something like that to make me believe that this was an attack on democracy and not just a lot of people being like, yo, we're kind of fucking upset about the shit that you guys have been doing to us and that this election was fraudulent in many ways. And isn't going on right now another like withdrawal of like Michigan's voting ballots? Dude. Like they're like going back and looking at them right now. They looked at Arizona's, they looked at Pennsylvania's, and all of them found fraudulent activity so far. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Michigan's just got retaken. So it's not like these people were fucking wrong. Like I don't agree with these people. I don't think January 6th went far enough. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm going to sound like Obama right here. They didn't do enough for this democracy. I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. And Jack Del Rio's fucking right. He didn't even say anything that January 6th was right by any means. He said, how are we going to compare these two things? And why are we prosecuting one without prosecuting the other in the same instance when one was clearly more damaging than the other?
Yeah, 100%, dude. And the fucked up part is, I don't know. I know they fined him for sure. They fined him
$100,000.
$100,000. Now they're in discussions. I think last time I heard they're in discussion of possible suspension, or like at least people are floating the idea out there.
I don't think he gets suspended.
I don't think that either. but it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he's just
tell me the owner of the Washington Commanders doesn't agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like,
they named the team the Commanders.
Like, the fucked up thing is like, I only see this like online. Like, how dare you compare January 6th to the peaceful protests that scoped the nation for the St. George Floyd? Like, I only see this shit online. Dude, everyone around here is like, January 6th not even on their fucking minds. Like, they don't even think about like January 6th.
Everybody forgot about it.
Like, most people around that I talk to like have completely forgot about it. Like, they're not even concerned about that. That's not their top priority at all. Like, imagine like, you know, gas prices going up. People are upset about their wages because inflation. And you come home and you get to watch the fucking Democrats, like, and like some shitty ass Republicans, like, talk about some dust up that happened. So like almost 2 years, like a year and a half ago, dude. Like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, that's what you want to talk about? Like,
well, and we have the Secretary of the Treasury, Yelnats. Isn't that what she is? Secretary of the Treasury? What is Yelnats? What's her position right now? Yelnats. Her fucking, isn't it Yelnats?
Or Yellen, is it?
Yellen? Maybe I'm thinking Yelnats because of holes. Stanley Yelnats, because it's Stanley Yelnats both ways.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if Yellen is a Jewish name, but I'm gonna go off on a limb and say it probably is. But I'm not sure. They just seem to be in weird positions.
Oh, it is Yellen. It's not Yelnats. Like,
okay.
that's just my autism showing. Yeah. Yellen, we've had Yellen on the fucking news for the last year and a half, saying that I don't think inflation will be that big of a deal. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Why would inflation be that big of a deal? We haven't done anything that's going to make it that big of a deal. And it's just like, and then we have her within the last month being like, we didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, when there was normal ass people with third grade reading levels that were like, inflation is a big deal.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking crazy.
With a third grade reading level, they didn't graduate junior high math, and they're like, hey, inflation is coming.
Yeah. I mean, dude, when they printed all that money after the like during the lockdowns, and they're just like bill after bill, it just like, went everywhere. Went to the American, a little bit went to the American people, then corporations.
Yeah, not the majority.
Yeah, most of it went to Israel and fucking probably Ukraine and
and the
mega corporations.
The women's program in Iran.
Oh yeah,
Iraq.
Yep, went to that, and then so like the huge amount of money that they printed, right? Bunch of it, right? And they're like, Yellen is on TV like, inflation shouldn't be that bad. Like, what?
Well, no, wait. This is even better. I saw a TikTok. I think I sent it to you. I don't know if I sent it to you. I saw a TikTok, and it was this fucking girl that was talking about how printing money doesn't cause inflation. And her argument was, and in her argument, she's not wrong, but she's glaringly missing the point of what happens when you overload. She's blaming it on she's like, basically she's doing the price control argument, where it's like, if we just don't pay for things at this price, then they won't be this price anymore. They'll have to bring them down. If the government just requires them to be a certain standard price, then they won't be that price anymore. This inflation isn't caused by printing money. We print money all the time, but inflation is only caused by the corporations trying to get more money. And it's like, no, the reason why inflation is a big deal is because assets become worth more when more money is printed to deflate the price of the dollar. Like, that's legitimately what it does. Like, it, and I may not be explaining it absolutely like on par with the top economic
I think I can
economists of the world.
I have a pretty good metaphor. I told some people this before. It's probably terrible, but I'll try. Imagine having like 10 very valuable fucking baseball cards, like Sammy Sosa baseball cards signed by Sammy Sosa himself. There's only 10 in the world, right? So these 10 exist. So these 10 are going to be valuable because there's only fucking 10. There's scarcity, right? There's only a limited amount of them. Now imagine there's this magic printer that can print exact replicas and no one can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So then you print like 100.
And everybody treats them the same.
Yes, and everybody treats them exactly the same because they don't know the difference either.
Now there's 100. So how much their
value
has decreased.
Has just split like in multiple ways because then there's more on the market. So people are not.
Let's say you make 20. The value is split in half.
Yes, exactly.
And you know that's legitimately the argument, and that's why Bitcoin is the way. Because Rollo told me that one time.
His car told me to.
But you know, and that's the easiest explanation, and a lot of people get that understanding of it.
That's what sold me on Bitcoin. That there, the scarcity.
That's what got me too. Yeah. Scarcity, because everything, like if there's one thing that you have ever learned in any kind of economics class, is the law of supply and demand. Like it just makes sense. It's like when the little kid in kindergarten has a cookie and you didn't get the last cookie because there's only so many chocolate chip cookies in the line, and they got 2 and you got 1 and you wanted another one, and it's like you're trying to trade some shit to get that last cookie because you really want that last chocolate chip cookie. It goes back to like the general understanding of who we are as human beings. Like that's just what we do. Like when there's something we want, there's things that are valuable that we're willing to trade to get that thing.
Yeah.
Like it's always been that way.
Yeah.
It's never been any different.
Yeah. This is kind of funny, but when I was in like middle school, these like all the girls always had like nice, like pencil boxes, for all the shit in there. And a lot of the girls had these like color little rubber bands. I don't know if you've ever seen, but the little tiny ones.
I don't know what color means, so.
Yeah, you're colorblind. But yeah, they had like all these little color bands. And me and my friends just bored one day at school. We put them together and we made like little dumb bracelets out of just rubber bands, dude. And we started wearing them because we made them. And because
you're faggots.
Yes, we blew each other that night. But no, we all started wearing them, and then people started asking us, like other kids, like fifth.
Oh, that's
graders.
Cool. That's cool.
We're like, that's so cool. I want a bracelet. So we're like, oh, okay, and we started making them, and we gave a few out, and then more people started showing up, like, oh, you guys are the ones with the bracelets. And so me and my friends are like, we got a business, baby. Like but
well, you gotta give a few out. You gotta give a few out for free. See, this is what a lot of businesses fuck up. You gotta give a few out for free to create the buzz.
Yeah,
and the buzz brings you back.
It caught on, dude. It caught on in my little small town. People like the idea. And so we're like, all right, we're selling.
Your town is full of a bunch of gays. They wanted rainbow rubber band bracelets on their
arm. At the time, rainbow didn't mean that.
You converted all the kids in your high school to be faggots, Typo. It was you. You're patient 0.
I brought it out of them, dude. But they fucking
you're like, it's my ass. I couldn't help it.
But so then I realized, like, in that moment, I realized I had something that people were demanding, right? And immediately I thought profit.
Well, what was the first price you set?
I think they were $2.
Was everybody willing to pay that?
Some kids were, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it was enough to, like, I was gonna say, did you put $5 and we're like, and then a lot of people didn't want them, and you were like, oh shit. All right, $2.
No, but me and my friends discussed that. We discussed like, how much should we charge? But $2 at the time to a fifth grader, we were like, because I think our discussion was like, what? I mean, so how we were
like, how much would we pay?
We
were this stupid.
We were taking the girls' rubber bands, so we
it was free.
Yeah, it was free. So we were like, should we charge $1? And then we charged $2, seeing what like fuck it. Like we thought that was kind of high. But we're like, we'll charge $2, and then if no one wants it, we'll dumb it down to $1. Like, oh, we're having a sale, like some bullshit, And the girls caught wind that we were selling these bracelets. So they're coming over asking for profit, dude. And we're like, we're not giving you, like, you got them from us. We gave them to you, blah, blah, blah. But we started thinking like, well, we don't know. We're dumb little boys. So we're like, we don't know how to get these rubber bands. So we're like,
you got to suck my dick.
No, no, not at all. We're like, we don't know how to get these rubber bands. And these girls like them. So like, you got to keep supplying us rubber bands. So they became like our suppliers. And we had this little business. It had lasted probably like 4 days. And then the principal came in and told us we weren't allowed to do it because it's against school policy. He actually loves you guys. He doesn't show love very well. I don't know how much I can keep making up about Luke. We're actually probably going to pause. Can you hear me?
All right, now I can hear you. I don't know
okay.
What happened to my fucking Bluetooth headphones. They're being bitches.
I'll be honest, and I'll even tell the audience, like, I was trying to keep talking, and then I just ran out of things to say. And I was like, well, we're going to take a pause. And I just let it be silent so I know where to edit it.
A moment of silence right here. Yeah, what I don't even know what marker this is. I think we started at like 4:30. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Are we like 2 hours, dude?
Yeah, we're getting pretty close. We got like 30 more minutes to 2 hours. But what was the finish of that, real quick, just so I know what you said?
Oh yeah, so that's when I learned supply and demand, and we had a business going for like 4 days, maybe 5 days, and then the principal shut it down. We weren't allowed to do that.
Dude, my girlfriend's I guess it's her cousin, basically kind of like her nephews. But her cousin, he's in like, I don't know, a freshman in high school or 8th grade. He's somewhere around there. He's doing, the chips and fucking snacks that you can get at Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in trouble in school for selling them at school. So he just sells them before school and he sells them after school and at lunch. Like he was just like, all right, bet. Like I'll just do it then. But he figured it out. It's so crazy. The more I think about schools, I had this conversation with my girlfriend too. It's like, the more you think about schools and the way they run, it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like they're not teaching them any type of like actual skills to like do anything like successful in their lives. Like I get that, probably up until 6th grade, you're learning general basic knowledge that you should kind of know to be successful. I get that you need to learn your times tables, and it just makes things easier in your head, and it's easier to like call out people's bullshit.
Learn how to read. Reading is kind of valuable.
And then the class that I think is like, I think the most important class in high school that I had was probably like English, and that's just because of reading comprehension. You need to be able to understand what you're reading. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's generally a pretty good rule of thumb. Like, I think that's the only class that I hated the class because I thought we read stupid fucking books.
Yeah, it made you think. It made you think in a way you didn't want to think.
Yeah, well, it was that, but like we read like fucking Jane Eyre, and I was like, dude, I don't want her to explain her fucking house again for the 30th fucking page.
And like it's how they teach it. I think reading comprehension is actually like very important.
I think it's extremely important.
And when I was in college, I found it much more valuable, and I took a lot more out of it than when I was in high school or even like younger, like 6th grade or whatever. But how they taught it, like, I don't know. I felt like a lot of times I felt like growing up, you know how in like reading or English class, whatever it was, the teacher would like make the student read out loud, you know?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was like the most boring waste of time.
Yeah, it was.
I felt like that we got nothing, at least to me, I felt like I got nothing out of this. Like, what am I? Like,
yeah,
what am I doing?
popcorn.
Yeah, and it was fucking terrible too, because if like you had trouble reading, I don't know if I did, and they'd be like, "Oh, read this chapter in front of the whole class." You're like, "Oh fuck, dude, I'm gonna fuck this up."
Yeah, to be honest, I was the dude that like corrected words because I was just like, God damn it, it's not that hard. It says
fucking
the
nerd, dude.
It
People
says fucking
threw
the
paper clips at you.
No, they didn't. Because everybody else, like the only time I did it was when it was like, bro, that says converge. Like, come on, man. Like I get it. Nobody loves you at home. Like, I understand. But you know what would make them love you more if you knew that word said converge. Yeah, I think they would love you more if they knew that you could read the word converge.
I felt bad for this one kid because he got like held back to 8th grade twice.
Oof.
So like this dude was like a freshman.
Did you guys have special ed classes?
Well, that's all my classes, dude. Yeah, we had special ed.
You had a special. Well, why wasn't that kid in it? Like, he should have been.
I don't know.
Special ed class.
I don't think it was. Well, I don't know, maybe, but it was his lack of trying. Like, he just didn't care. He just at like 13, he's like, this is all stupid, and just like didn't care.
I mean, like, I agree with him, but like,
yeah,
if he couldn't read, then I disagree with him.
So sense. So when it came, I just have to say, when like me and my friends hanging, like this dude was like growing partial facial hair.
Oh yeah, he was fucking 18 in 8th grade.
And and this guy, honestly,
I'm fucking 28 and still can't grow it.
yeah, dude. Fuck that. But
special ed for the fucking hairless.
But yeah, I would just say that me and my friends would always get excited when it was, and his name was Billy, time
of
to
course
read. When it was Billy's turn to read.
Of course it was Billy.
We got a little excited because we knew it was going to be a train wreck.
Because somebody was stupider than you were for once.
Yes, dude. I only had a few people that I could make fun of because it was like, well, I'm not that stupid. You know what I mean?
You were the typical high school jock that's like, I'm cool, but I'm stupid. So I get by on being cool at football.
Yeah. I mean, just because I think like it's weird. I don't know why high school works like that, but like just playing a few sports somehow raises your cred in high school. Like, I don't know why.
See, I do everything the hard way, right? Like, you know this about me. I do everything the hard way.
What you do?
So, like, even though I played sports, I wasn't cool because I didn't get along with the cool kids in the sport. I was great at the sport. I did really well at all the sports. But those guys, like, I mean, knowing you, how you are now, it's a little bit different in a small school. But like with the graduating class of 1,100 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. Like the ego comes into play a lot more than it does when you've known everybody since fucking first grade, Yeah.
it's
So like the ego,
close.
Yeah, it's not as close. So there's the ego where it's like, I came to this school to, be the starting wide receiver on the fucking football team, or I came to this school to.
I think the best way to put it is like you went to school with strangers.
Yes, I did.
I did not go to school with strangers.
And that was the other thing, like both schools, because I transferred, like we moved 30 miles. We're in the same city by all means. Yeah. We're in the same fucking city, but we drove 30, like I went to a school 30 miles away to my first high school. And then my second high school, we were driving 45 miles every morning to go to that high school until we finally moved. Like, so it's different. And this is like the traditional school that you see in like, a Project X type fucking, movie, or, some of the schools that you see in like inner city LA. Like, I'm not saying it's as ghetto as that. I don't think Phoenix is that ghetto, compared to other schools. But it's an inner city school, like for an inner city like amount of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like there was the clear distinction between the groups, and I was the weirdo that kind of just like floated, because and it wasn't even like political affiliation, because nobody gave a shit about that in our during high school. Like nobody did that shit. It was like either you were a stoner, or you played sports, or you were in the AP IP, or what is it, IB program. And like that was like the three things here in Phoenix. It was like you were a stoner, played sports, skater, APIB program. And even the sports were secluded too. So it was like football, basketball, baseball. Like these people didn't hang out with each other. Football and baseball kind of hung out, but basketball didn't hang out with anybody. Really, like we were kind of like secluded there. But then I played football, I played basketball, I played baseball, and then I stopped playing baseball, and then I broke my collarbone, stopped playing football because I couldn't hit anymore, and I only played basketball. But I was in that AP program. None of the kids in my fucking on my team were in any sort of AP program, whether they were freshmen to senior. Mm-hmm. And so like I was just a weird ass fucking kid, bro. Yeah. Like we talked about this last week. You were like, you have a weird fucking life, because we were talking about it. Yeah, and I just had I just had a weird growing up period where it just wasn't like that for other people.
Yeah. Well, there was that kind of like attitude. Like, I don't know about if this happened for you, but like I was in like some AP class, like a few. I didn't have all AP classes. I had a few. And there definitely was like the like people that really cared about their education. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they really cared about their education in high school. Usually women, but some like more nerdy dudes.
Yeah.
And there was this clear distinction that like I would go like back and hang out with my friends that were like in the general classes. And then they would always be like, oh, fucking Shorty going over here from his nerd class, so fucking smarter than us, think he's better than us. But when I was in the AP classes, the AP people were like, yeah, they're like, oh my God, they're in the general classes. Like they looked down on them, dude. And I was like, damn, dude, like high school was like formed cults or like cliques. It's so fucking weird.
Dude, I got looked down in the AP classes because I played sports. And they're like, because most of the people that were in AP, like all the classes were AP. I think it's called IB. It's like the internet. Yeah, it's IB. Our program we had AP, IP, or IB, and IB standing for International Bachelorette Program. And it's basically the easiest way to get in, or it's like a good thing to do if you want to get into an Ivy League school. Like that's what you do the IB program. And so like AP's good, but IB makes you do like some extracurricular activity that's like student government, and you have volunteer hours that you have to meet every semester, and they have like a whole bunch of other things, but it's the same class as AP. You just have other things on top of it. So that's kind of how it was. But so like when I'd go to like all my classes were, all my non-electives were AP classes, AP IB classes. So when I'd go there, they were like, this motherfucker's playing sports. Like they were just shitting on me. And I was new because my other school didn't have that. They just had an AP program. So when I'd go to when I changed schools, they were just like, this guy's just a fucking, white kid that thinks he's black, from the ghetto, that is in AP classes, but he plays sports and he thinks sports are more important than, education. And it was like, 100%. I was reading at a fucking high school level when I was fucking 7. Like my reading comprehension was way better than it should have ever been. Yeah. And generally my reading comprehension is a lot higher than the majority of people that I'm around. I can dissect things very easily. I understand context very well, but
jerk yourself off some more, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to do this. But then I say shit like ain't gonna happen. or would you ask in the group chat the other day? You were asking what the rapper said that I sent in the fucking, he's like, but you is gay or some shit like that.
Yeah.
What was that? And
yeah, dude, I did not.
I had to
read
explain
it like 4 times, and I'm like, I don't know what he's trying to.
I had to explain the ebonics to you. So like that's where I came from, you know, like I could read extremely well, but then I was like talking like I was a fucking 7th grader that couldn't use consonants, you know, like, and then I played sports, but so then on the sports teams, they were like, you're a fucking nerd. And I was like, well, this is fucking stupid.
You can't have the best of both worlds. You get the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, I just got shit on my entire life. And that's why I hated high school. And then when you talk about it, you're like, I loved high school. High school was great.
I mean, it was pretty chill, dude. I mean, we didn't do a lot, dude. I mean, like there was never a time where I was like, oh man, I really need to study for this. Like that never happened for me. Like a lot. Now I'm not saying I had the best grades. I had a few C's there, here and there.
Yeah, but that's because you didn't care. It was like,
Yeah. It was just like, what do I? Well, my mentality was like military, so like I just need to pass.
Yeah,
pass. Did you graduate high school? Yes, I passed.
Dude, that's what my parents hated, was because October of 2012 or 2011, I turned 18, and 2 weeks later I joined the Marine Corps without them knowing, because I was 18 and still in high school. So I didn't have to tell them shit. But the rest of my senior year, I didn't give a fuck. I was just trying to pass because I was like, I already have a plan. Like I don't.
Yeah. And that was my mentality in college as well. Is like, what do I need to do to pass?
Definitely.
I mean, that's how, honestly, in the military is like what probably ingrained that to me a lot. Maybe college is like took the same approach, but that's all they cared about in the Marine Corps. You could get like an 82 and the pass is an 80, and they'll be like, good job, you passed. Like that's all they fucking cared about. And that's how I took fucking college as well, dude.
I just didn't give a fuck about. I'm trying to. We've talked a lot since then.
I know, that was like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks. So.
Oh wait, I'm all right. I'm too far because I just hit George Bush, and it was after George Bush. The last thing that we're going to talk about, if I find it, I'll bring it up before. But the last thing we were going to talk about, our boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Cam fucking Harmless.
Harless.
I thought it was Harmless.
His fucking handle is Ham Carless or
Careless.
I'm so bad. I wish I.
My reading comprehension is so great.
It's declined.
I have a lot of, so this is my excuse now. I have a lot of head injuries since then.
Yeah, but yeah. So he's got a podcast. What is it called? It is, I think it's The Mad Ones. That's what it is. And now I'll be honest, like we're Twitter mutuals. I know of him. We've like communicated on Twitter a few times, but I don't really follow his stuff. But he fucking made a great tweet, and we kind of talked about this last week, right?
Yeah, we touched on it because it was funny.
But it was still kind of happening. It was still snowballing, right? Like everything was kind of unfolding, and we were just kind of like excited because, you know, Cam had the tweet that I think we read it, but it was every girl is bi. You just have to figure out if it's polar or sexual. Now, like, this is like honestly harmless to me. Like, I don't think it's like that big of a deal, but this caused some major issues with the Washington Post. And I'm just going to share the article.
Yeah, do it. Because that shit is fucking funny.
But yeah, the Washington Post suspends a reporter. Yeah, this guy was on Tucker Carlson. Like, this got Tucker Carlson's attention. This was like national news, which is hilarious that this is national news. But so I'm going to just read it. Cam Harless, the man behind the tweet that got the Washington Post reporter David Weigel suspended, appeared on Tucker Carlson to discuss the meltdown that has ensued at the paper since Weigel's retweet. Harless, co-host of the Mad Ones, joked on June 1st that every girl is bi. You just have to figure out if it's polar or sexual. Weigel retweeted, was hammered by colleagues, and ultimately led to him getting placed on unpaid leave, as Matt covered extensively.
Carlson asked Harless if he knew when he wrote, or Carlson asked Harless if he knew when he wrote the joke that he recommends career. He responded, "I didn't know that, but I did know that it would probably would have done it earlier, I think." Harless told Tucker Carlson the joke is actually old, but he heard it for the first time recently from a friend and decided to tweet it on the first day of Pride Month. Why not see what happens, he recalled, thinking it might get a couple dozen likes or so. I think I am like 12,500 likes now, he said, and never expected that it would help set a fire to the Washington Post to start a civil war. I felt bad for like half a minute when out of that he was suspended, and don't think anyone should be punished for retweeting a joke that I tweet. That's ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm really happy that, you know, I profoundly against the wars. And so when I found out that Wago was a pro-Iraq war, I was like, maybe it wasn't such a bad thing that it was this guy that got that, Harless said.
Hell yeah, dude. What a savage.
Dude, it's dope. And it kind of, I actually don't exactly know what happened, but it's stirred up even more as the week kept going. And that Felicia, this is the original.
Yeah, because she kept going after other people too.
Okay, that's what she was doing.
Yeah, she kept going after other people.
Yeah.
From what I saw, she kept going after other people. And go ahead where you were what you were going to finish.
Oh yeah, so she's one of the colleagues that the Weagle guy works with, and she was going after him and kind of made a big deal, screenshotted the retweet and made a big deal out of it. But I think it was today, maybe it was yesterday, but she has now been fired from the Washington Post. So Cam Harless made a tweet and it domino affected into a corporate journalist losing their job. Two. Well, at least a suspension. Did he get fired as well, or was it just a suspension?
He might still be suspended, actually. You might be right.
He killed one and injured the other one. That is what he did. And it is
that's a mass shooting in today's standards. You should have done it at school, bro.
Oh my god. But fuck yeah, dude. It's like one of the it's honestly just watching like some sort of shit post. This gives shit posters like the fuel they need, dude. Because shit posters are now like they're going to be like, oh my god, we have power. like I'm gonna go demand I get a raise from my boss, and I'm gonna show him that Cam Harless follows me, and if he doesn't give me that raise, I'll get him fucking fired.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet at Cam Harless like, hey bro, I need you to tweet about my boss real quick. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Yeah,
we can talk about him on Tucker.
Yeah, we can get invited on Tucker Carlson with oh
dude,
my god,
it's just the wildest thing ever, because like you said, like we've never really interacted with him a whole bunch. Like I've interacted with him on posts or things like that. I follow him for a reason. I don't follow a whole bunch of people that I dislike. Yeah. Like I follow some people that I dislike just because I want to see what they're tweeting, but
you got to keep an eye on them.
You got to keep an eye on them. I got to have something to quote tweet. I'm not Ace who can quote tweet everybody, but I've always liked his shit. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And God, I saw that joke on TikTok like 2 days before he tweeted it out, or before everything like went down at least. And when he tweeted it out, I was like, that's funny. I was going to do that, like post that same exact thing, but he just had the right people retweet it and like it and whatever. And it made it up. What did he tweet recently? You sent it in the group chat, but he was like, you guys just talk about canceling journalists. I actually do it. Or he's like, you talk about, this is what he said. You talk about how white women should be stopped. I stop white women. We aren't the same. Like, what a fucking legend, dude. That shit is so great.
This guy just made libertarian internet history, dude.
Yeah.
Like this guy will be forever.
Libertarian of the year.
Yeah. I would say so far, best libertarian of the year we have so far. He took out a corporate journalist. Like that's pretty big for our community.
That's bigger than any other libertarian has ever done. So.
Cam Harless is the first libertarian to ever assassinate a corpus journalist.
And he listens to the podcast too. So shout out to fucking Cam for being a fucking real G.
Yeah, what a G, dude. We're gonna get him. You know what? We should invite him on the show.
Yeah,
we should have invited him on the
He's
show.
not gonna come on our show. He went on
He's-
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, he's cable news now. He's better than he ain't coming on here.
He'll be on Tim Pool in a month. Don't worry about it.
Well, if he comes on our show, dude, the pipeline's real.
Yeah, the pipeline is real. Cam, come on our show. We'll fucking talk about your tweet. We'll talk about fucking anarchist shit. And then you'll go on Tim Pool within the month. So
yeah, dude. The mad ones. I don't know. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Dude, that's fucking dope. That shit was hilarious. We were fucking following it from the right when it first happened too. Because I think when we shared the quote tweet, like I had seen it that same day, and you shared the quote tweet to like our group with Cole from Tower Gang, and you shared it, and I was like, yeah, dude, I just saw that. That's hilarious. And I didn't think anything of it. Like after that, I didn't think anything of it. And then I was like, that joke's fucking funny. And we talked about it on the podcast. And then we talked about like them freaking out about it. And I was like, that's not something to get canceled over. Like that's legitimately a joke. Like he's not saying, and they're calling for, she was saying that it was overt sexism. Like get the fuck out of here. And how can Washington Post like be a part of this, and how can we employ these type of people? And it just makes no sense. Makes no sense. It was a clear joke, and you're a bitch if you don't think so.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, she's gone. She gone.
That's fucking awesome.
Did we have anything else after that? I think it was the Jack Del Rio. We didn't talk about anything that we were going to talk about besides Jack Del Rio and Cam Harless.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about one more thing. We can kind of go over it really quick.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, the Biden fucking gun bill, or not even got Biden gun bill, but.
Oh, I know that's pretty, we could talk about that, but I was going to talk about the Liv Golf.
Oh, yes. All right, I'd rather talk about that than fucking the gun shit, because honestly, there's 3D printers now, and fuck you, come and take it.
Yeah, and I don't see it passing the Senate. Now, I still think it's kind of important, but we're at the end of our podcast, and me and Luke want to talk about this. So sorry, guys. Government taking our guns is bad. Just know that. Okay, so if just a little bit of backstory, like the Liv Golf, which is like backed by the Saudis, apparently, has now been taking like major top of the line PGA players to get them to come over, and they're paying them.
And it's like Saudi princes. Like it's not like the Saudi government. I just want to make that clear. I mean, yeah, they're princes, but there's like 150,000 princes in Saudi Arabia. Like I don't like everybody's a fucking prince in Saudi Arabia for some goddamn reason. But they created this fucking golf league.
Yeah.
And they have a shit ton of fucking money. And they're stealing PGA fucking tour guys. It's hilarious.
They're robbing. They're paying them lots and lots of money. And
what was Phil Mickelson's price? What was it? Was it
$200 million?
Yeah, that's what it was. 200 million.
Yeah. I'd go like people like Daniel Tosh has this joke, but it's the same thing. It's like, because they've been questioning. I've seen some reporters like, how can you play for Saudi Arabia? Blah blah blah. They killed journalists and stuff, and like, you know, all of the golfers have some sort of lame excuse. But like, dude, like I would go play for the Liv Golf for a lot less than $200 million. And I wouldn't say a fucking word about the Saudis, dude. I mean, I would like $200 million. Like, are you kidding me, dude? He'll just like wipe his tears with $1 bills. He's got 200 million of them. Like, fuck you, man. But I kind of I don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of the Saudi government. I think they're terrible. But I kind of like this like mix up in sports world, and it's bringing some competition to some major leagues. And I kind of really like that, because I really like sports, but I kind of hate what like the NFL is doing, you know?
They kind of cater to like the regime. They changed the rules. We think it's kind of bullshit. So I'm excited to see some competition.
Typo's over here like, I actually like the Saudis because they hate the gays.
Well, I don't see Liv Golf promoting Pride Month. Do you?
No, Nike didn't on Saudi Arabia's Nike Twitter. So
yeah, but
you
so
know,
the
like
PGA.
go ahead.
I just want to. I'll get to the story, and you can say whatever you like. The PGA Tour has now suspended all the players. There's 17 of them: Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia, and there's probably some other big names that I don't really know, but they're all going over to the Liv Golf, and now the PGA has suspended them, which is, I mean, for the golf world, this is like insane.
Well, this is huge because Phil Mickelson, obviously, arguably the best golfer, if not second best golfer to Tiger Woods, right? Like these two have been neck and neck for a long time. They have been neck and neck for a long ass time. So Tiger Woods not involved, but Phil Mickelson leaving.
They tried.
They tried. And they were probably really close, but he was probably like, Tiger Woods has been one of the highest paid people in sports for a long time.
He's just made $1 billion.
Yeah, I saw a graphic of like cumulative sports, like the highest paid people in sports cumulative. So like over their entire career, not just like contract to contract, it's like all together. And it was like Michael Jordan rose up really quick, and then Michael Jordan was from like 2000 to like 2012, he was the premier, like he was making the most money out of everybody in sports ever. And then Tiger Woods shot up and he surpassed everybody, and nobody has touched him ever. So they couldn't offer Tiger Woods the amount of money that he would require. But Phil Mickelson
is a very good second.
One of the best, if not the best. Like he's second tier to Tiger Woods only, if he is second tier. Like there's golfers that will argue that he's better than Tiger. So like, and I don't fucking know the golf world like that. So it's Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. They're up there at the top. He's like, all right, suspend me. They knew that they could get suspended. He was like 200 million. Bet. Okay. I made 200 million for a tournament. This is just a tournament, isn't it? It's not even like a full season.
I'm not sure. I'm not
originally
sure.
Like I'm pretty sure it was a tournament or multiple tournaments, and he was going to play originally before the PGA suspended him. He was going to play PGA Tour tournaments and live tournaments. I'm pretty sure that's what his plan was. And then Dustin Johnson just won like the whole fucking tour last year. This the last season, he just won it. He just won the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, my name's DJ and I'm going to be playing for Saudi Arabia. And he made like the little Disney sign, and he's like on a TV commercial. My name's Dustin Johnson.
It's in the blood of that journalist.
Well, and so the interview that I saw with these guys, and I don't think I think Dustin was up there. I don't know if he was. It was 3 generic looking white people that play golf. So I know it definitely wasn't Phil Mickelson, but it could have been Dustin Johnson because he looks like a generic white person that plays golf. But there was 3 of them, and they were asking him questions. And this one journalist asked, is there anywhere you won't play? Like, is there one place that has too much going on in the world where you won't play? And they're like, and then he went on, because most of them were like, I'm not really going to answer this question. They all kind of looked, there was 3 of them. They all kind of looked at him like he was fucking stupid. And he was like, let's say if Putin said, hey, we're going to have a golf tournament. Like literally that's the first thing they said. Like if Putin is going to have a golf tournament in Russia, like, would you not play there because of everything that's going on there? And the one guy was like, I mean, you're talking about things that I'm not even being offered. So like, I don't really know what you want me to say here. And then somebody else came on, like one of the other guys, because there was 3 of them. He was like, you're just asking hypotheticals. I'm not going to answer a hypothetical. Like And he's like, no, I'm asking a question. And he's like, yeah, but your question is a hypothetical. Like, I'm not going to answer that. And, like, I don't blame these fucking guys. Yeah. Like, I get it. I fucking get it. Like, do you, bro? Get your bag.
Yeah. Get your bag, dude. And, like, I haven't watched any of the tournaments or seen anything about Liv Sports. Honestly, I haven't looked into him too much. No. But I have seen with some internet chatter how reliable this can be. But internet chatter has been saying that the Liv broadcasting is actually pretty good.
Well, and a lot, what I've heard is the PGA makes them pay to go to every tournament. The PGA makes them go everywhere or do everything that they want to. They have them. Yeah, they've had the monopoly on the sports world for a long time, or on the golf sports world for a long time. So they get to do whatever the fuck they want. And I think the top 65 players or something like that make $1 million a year. Like, that's the average. They make $1 million a year, like the top 65. And it's like, wow. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. Like, I don't fucking know. They're playing a sport. Like, I get it. Like, but people like to watch. How much is ESPN making off of PGA Tour coverage?
Yeah.
How much is the PGA Tour making off of selling out their business to ESPN? Like, how much are these people making compared to, the players? Like, it's the same thing with any other company. And I'll use mine as an example. It's like our little section, there's 6 of us, 5 of us this year that actually made money for the company. We made something close to almost $3 million, or close to $3 million. We're very close to that $3 million mark. And with that, all of us get paid under, I think the highest goes $40 an hour. Maybe that's a real close maybe. And with our trucks, the gear, everything that we do, they basically, in the first 3 months, 3 months of this year, I paid off my salary. Like, what, or not even salary, because it's not a salary, but I paid off my hourly wage, basically. We want more money. Like, that doesn't seem like an insane thing to ask for. In the first 3 months, let's say all 3 of us in the first 3 months paid off our salaries. Let's say it's based off of our, if our income is close, let's say the 2 top guys, because they've been in the business for so long, so they make more money. If they paid off their salary in 5 months or 6 months, and I'm one of the lowest guys, the lowest guy out of the 5, not including the 6, because the 6 is brand new, not brand new to the fucking industry. We pay off our salaries, and I paid off mine in 3 months. Let's say the 2 top guys paid off theirs in 6, and it ranges between, and the average is 4. Let's say it takes 4 to 5 months to pay off everybody's salary. It takes 3 months, and none of us make over 100K. That didn't make sense. If it took us a year to make $3 million, and out of the 5 of us, none of us make over 100K. So that means you have over $2 million in profit. $2 million in profit. And that's with like our trucks, insurance, all the gear that we sell, everything else. You make $2 million in profit. People are going to start asking questions like, hey, can I get more money? Like,
yeah.
That's a general easy question to ask at that point. Especially, we just had our fiscal year. So it's like, yeah, we want more money. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's, so with the PGA guys, it's like, we're bringing in a certain amount of money.
Yeah. You see this kind of happening in the UFC as well.
Yeah. Well, and Dana White had a good point on Pat McAfee's show where he said, we do business with people that a lot of people aren't going to like. But guess what? We're going to still continue to do business there because they're bringing in our money. Like, they're bringing in our money. And people are going to watch it there regardless. Because, so there's a lot of things that Saudi Arabia does that we dislike, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of things. But if I had the opportunity to go make $1 million in Saudi Arabia over a year, and I didn't have to claim any of those on my taxes in the United States, would I do it? Absolutely, I would.
You're goddamn right.
You're goddamn right. Because it's like, bro, you think you like, I generally don't think that the majority of Saudi Arabia, like the normal ass fucking people, I have more in common with the people of Saudi Arabia, the general peons that are just like me of Saudi Arabia, than I do with any of the leadership that tells them that they need to stone fucking, gay people in the square.
Or
like that's just how it fucking is. Like, especially in the bigger cities, like there's a lot of people that they're like, we're not making any decisions over that thing. Or you tell them like, if somebody immigrates from Saudi Arabia to here and you tell them what Saudi Arabia has been doing for the last 20 years with the United States, they'd be fucking surprised because they have no idea. They have no idea.
Here's the fucking hypocrisy too. It's like, Phil Mickelson played for America, right? The PGA, which is like for America,
It's America's team.
The fucking America and Saudi Arabia are waging war on Yemen. So it's like, should Phil Mickelson not play for the PGA because America's waging war on Yemen?
They're our allies, so I don't see what the fucking problem is, right?
Yeah.
America?
Yeah, dude. We're fucking...
Where are the journalists asking that question?
Yeah.
They're not there because it's not a question that's allowed to be asked.
Well, they care about is they don't like seeing governments kill their people.
Well, and they don't want to see 17 players from the PGA committing to a Saudi Arabia golf tournament or golf league during Pride Month where they stone the gays in a square.
I want to know if ESPN is out of this deal. Like, I'm kind of interested if
they're not. They're not. They're gonna be involved.
If
they're gonna be involved.
If Liv Sports is getting their monies over to ESPN, then I don't think it'll be that big of a problem in the ESPN area. But the PGA, they're definitely gonna be pissed.
Yeah, like some of the people accuse Dana White of playing favorites for people that get title shots, but it's like a Russian just fought for a championship during the entire Ukraine thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Peter Yan. He's fucking Russian as fucking Russian gets. Like, and he fought for a title. And I think the title was in like Dallas, Texas, or it was in some place that it's like anytime a Russian comes up, everybody boos. And it's like, God, I wouldn't boo the Russians that much in the UFC because the Russians fucking know a thing or two. Like, they're pretty fucking good at fighting people. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, I don't know. It's just the craziest thing right now that, dude, because the PGA is white, right? Like, that's the biggest thing is like the PGA Tour is fucking white as hell. Like, it's white.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly, there's a few Asians that slip in there.
There's one black guy that everybody knows.
One black guy. I was about to say few, but I'm like one black guy that I can think of.
and he gets DUIs and beats his wife. So
his wife beats him.
Oh yeah, that's right. But he still gets the DUI.
Yeah, he gets the DUI.
His white wife beats his ass afterwards. But it's just one of those things where it's like, get your bag, bro. Like, at this point in time, like, there's very few things that the only time that I hate people getting their bag is like big pharma or police officers. Like, and maybe I'm skewed. Like,
maybe you have a bias.
Yeah. Maybe I have a bias and
a bias.
A bias. And I can admit that. I can admit that I have a bias at this point in time. But like, Phil Mickelson's not stoning people in the square because they're gay. Like,
he's not killing journalists. And
Dustin
might be cool, but he's not doing that.
If he comes out in support of the the killing of journalists in the in Saudi Arabia for talking about their war crimes, then I'll have a problem with Phil Mickelson, but he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done that yet. So,
who cares?
Get your bag, bro.
Yeah, get your bag. Dude, when you're talking about the Russia censoring thing, that's kind of funny because sometimes I play chess. I have the app chess.com. And on that app, it always pops up like whatever fucking country, your flag, whatever country you're from. And they blurred out the Russian flag.
You should change yours to the Russian flag.
If I do, I think it'll be blurred out because it's like this gray flag. And I'm like, what is this? And if you click on it, it'll pop up where it's from. And every time I click on it, it's blurred out. It's gray, but it says Russia. I'm like, whoa.
That is wild. Because there's a couple people that have talked about chess recently and this is going back to TikTok, and that's only because I've watched it a lot this week because I haven't had shit for work. But there's a lot of people that are like, I'd rather live in Russia than the United States because at least I can get away with being what's the word you use? Or at least I can use corruption and I don't get fined for it. Like, we know they use corruption. We know. The people in Russia are like, we know that the Russian government uses corruption to get what they want and to do those things. But I know as a citizen that I can use that same corruption and I won't get penalized for it. And that's like, I think it's that, I don't know. He's making the fucking rounds right now. I can't remember his name. He kind of reminds me of, no, he's not Russian. He was on a Big Brother episode and then he got really big afterwards. I don't remember his name right now. I'll find it and I'll probably talk about it on the next podcast. I'll find his actual name, but he actually lives in Romania because he's talking about how Romania is like, we know the government's corrupt and they know that we do corrupt things, but everybody's like, as long as you do the corrupt thing, like, you're not going to get in trouble for it. And, it's just the standard. It's just the standard. It's like, if you just automatically accept that everybody's going to fuck you over, then you fuck over other people. It's not a good way to go about like doing things, like in my opinion, but like, as long as they're corrupt and they don't shit on you for being corrupt, then,
it's a whole cabal.
Yeah. It's like, whatever. Yeah, we're all in on this and we're all trying to make money, like whatever. But just with the whole Russia thing, it's just wild to see how crazily it's died down recently. Like, we're not talking about it, especially because like Russia had like a really big win in one of the cities recently, and the Ukrainian like national television said that they did. Like, that was weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, like, honestly, like Colonel Douglas McGregor, this is where I'm taking it from. He's kind of saying that like Russia is gonna make big, like they're gonna, like this summer, you're gonna see people like start being like, oh, let's start to negotiate.
Like the Russians or the Ukrainians?
Well, probably he thinks that the other countries in Europe will start being like, yo, what this?
Oh, NATO.
This needs to chill out. Yeah, but they think like Germany and like France, they're going to get like really affected by this. And like a lot of countries are, because there's like 6 million people have fled Ukraine. So that's a major influx of immigration in these countries. And like when there's immigrations from different cultures that move into another, I mean, look what happened with the immigration problem going on with the Muslims fleeing the Muslim countries into Europe. And it caused a lot of animosity, a lot of problems amongst the citizen. So you can kind of expect the same thing happening with all these people fleeing Ukraine, because it's just like different cultures mixing together, and they have disagreements and they have problems, and some things get violent.
Well, the Ukrainians don't really like the rainbow flag that much. I can just tell you that.
Well, I was talking about joining the Foreign Legion or whatever.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, I wasn't thinking about joining. Well, I was thinking about raising, I was in the military. Like, I understand when you're doing military stuff, that it gets really boring. It gets really, really boring, right? Like, there's not a lot to do sometimes unless you're fighting and in the shit. Like there's just like you're sitting around waiting to get shot at. So like they're gonna have a lot of free time. Maybe they don't have very good cell phone service. I was thinking about getting some books together. And I was thinking about like a good classic for Europe, you know, hits home. Like what about like the Diary of Anne Frank? Like, like what if we started a GoFundMe for Jewish books, like books that we want to send to Ukraine for the citizens and the people in the military? I think this could raise awareness for like,
is that
you
the
know,
book you're sending?
That's what I'm gonna start a GoFundMe for. Give me Ukrainians the Diary of Anne Frank. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's see how it works. I don't know if that's gonna work out too well.
Yeah, they'll probably send it back. No, they'll
probably just burn it in a square.
Yeah, they'll probably be like, oh, more
with all the gays.
And the Jews.
Yeah. Oh,
and
shit.
Those bankers.
During Pride Month.
Oh, dude. Crazy times, dude.
Crazy times. This was fucking fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go check out our Patreon because Typo's gonna start uploading episodes of his own show on there.
Yes, sir.
When are you doing that?
Sometime this month. I promise. I promise it's going to happen. I talked to people. There's a Patrick McFarlane. He was at Childeberg, and I was like, "Listen, dude, I'm going to release the episode we recorded. I promise. I promise." So that will come out soon. I promise all of you, and we will be getting more episodes of just me. I'm actually not. Actually, I'm going to scrap all the people I recorded with and just talk in the mic, just me, for like an hour.
That sounds horrible. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to subscribe to that.
I'm trying to lose followers.
That's the whole goal on this podcast, to be honest. Like, there shouldn't be as many of you as there are. So we're trying to reduce our base.
Yeah, we're just. We aren't looking for people that find us interesting. We're looking for loyalists that will follow us until the end of this disgusting podcast, until it crash and burns.
Ape together strong.
If you're still here, I love you.
That's the fucking shit show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go check us out on bitingthebulletpod.com. Yeah, and that's it. We out.
Welcome to the shit show.
Setting fire to the blunt and allowable opinion.